From the news center of the Permian Basin, this is News Center 7, the Weekend Report.
Good evening. We're glad you could join us. Just ahead, Philippine President Aquino fires her cabinet. Back home, police officers give away food to the needy. But first, the Crane County Sheriff's Department received a report this evening just after 8 o'clock that a private plane had crashed in the area. The man who reported the incident believed the crash had occurred at the airport in Crane. No injuries were reported in connection with the incident, but the Sheriff's Department is not releasing any information at this time. Once again, we have received no confirmation that the accident did in fact occur, but we will keep you updated. Midland police have a new suspect in the disappearance of June Gilkerson. It's the same man the Bullhead City Police are searching for, and a $10,000 reward is being offered for information that helps police catch him. The suspect is a white male in his late 20s. He's about 6 feet tall, thin, and may have a tattoo in the web of one hand. A man fitting this description was seen with another woman, Pamela Joyce Simmons, just before she disappeared. If you think you've seen the suspect, call the police. Well, 2 men are still being held in the Ector County Jail tonight after being arrested yesterday for possession of methamphetamines. Ector County Sheriff's deputies say 26-year-old Wayne Brunson of Odessa was arrested along with 35-year-old Dean Cole of Toccoa, Texas. They were arrested at the Red X truck stop at I-20 and 1936. The 2 men were arraigned tonight. Well, the holiday spirit of giving is alive and well in the Permian Basin, and today police in both Midland and Odessa were proving that they know how to give more than parking tickets. The Fraternal Order of Police in Midland gave away 150 Thanksgiving baskets of food to the needy today. Officers in Odessa were also giving away baskets, and the giving doesn't stop there.
Yes, we'll be doing this at Christmas time as well. Our campaign is still going on, and we are still soliciting for funds up through about December 15th. And we hope to continue to make it an every year program for our lodge to continue doing.
Well, this was the first year that the program has been carried out in the 2 cities, and organizers are calling it a big success. Well, the police weren't the only ones on their toes dashing around tonight. Ballet Midland had a lot of dancers on their toes warming up and rehearsing for the Nutcracker. Karen Campbell has more.
Putting on a show involves a lot of work and practicing, and about 60 children in the cast have put aside playing with friends and toys to work in the Nutcracker.
It's real hard. Well, sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's fun. It's mostly fun. It's not fun on the bar, but it's fun in the center.
Maya is one of the children that will escape from under Mother Ginger's dress. For this rehearsal, Mother Ginger wasn't in her best dress yet. Another young performer has a lot of big responsibilities.
Well, in the beginning, I've got the main part, and I get the Nutcracker doll, and I care for it, and then I go and there's another scene after the party scene called the battle scene.
Aaliyah was thrilled to get a major role in the ballet, the part of Clara. She was the understudy for Clara last year and has been in the Nutcracker 3 times. Aaliyah started ballet at 2 years old and has been studying dance for 8 years. One dancer who has been studying a lot longer than Aaliyah is Susan Clark, a former Midlander who is now with the Atlanta Ballet. Clark is making a guest appearance in Midland to participate in Ballet Midland's production of the Nutcracker.
Well, it's a wonderful family production. I think all ages enjoy it. It's great. The sets are great, and everyone loves a fairy tale, and it's just a nice story ballet. You don't really have to love ballet to love the Nutcracker, I think.
Ballet Midland's Nutcracker Suite opens November 26th at 8 p.m. There'll be 5 performances running through November 29th. Karen Campbell, News Center 7. Still ahead, President Aquino addresses her country of Manila tonight, and we'll show you a movie that's said to be good for the whole family. Stay with us.
Spending money is an everyday event, and most of us do it in the same way, with a check. So it's important that we feel good about our checking account. Home Savings Bonus Rate Checking not only provides you with a higher interest rate, but it also gives you the added confidence of overdraft protection. Home Savings is more convenient than any other financial institution in the Permian Basin, with 8 offices to serve you.
Feeling good together. Home Savings and you.
Plan to attend the 10th Annual Ye Olde Christmas Fair Saturday and Sunday, November 29th and 30th in the Ector County Coliseum. This year's fair features over 100 festive booths with one-of-a-kind gift items to fit any budget. So join Santa and his helpers for a traditional holiday shopping experience at the 10th Annual Ye Olde Christmas Fair Saturday and Sunday, November 29th and 30th in the Ector County Coliseum.
You know nobody wants your business worse than we do out at Wee Dalton's. And it's so close to Christmas that we're afraid you might buy your boots somewhere else. So we reduced all our boot prices. We have a whole wall of lizards, snakes, elephants, first quality and factory defects, now $99. Sharks and ostrich belly are now $79. A whole wall of basics, buy one for $59. You get the second pair for $49. Ropers, men's and ladies, all leather ropers starting as low as $49.98. We're out on Highway 80, Wee Dalton's. We're open till 7 and Sundays.
Philippine President Corazon Aquino has taken some bold steps following a coup attempt. Today she made the announcement that she fired her cabinet, including the defense minister. Aquino today also put communist rebels on notice. She warned she would end negotiations if a ceasefire is not reached this month. Well, President Reagan is back in the White House tonight after spending the weekend at Camp David. His return coincides with the growing controversy over his secret shipment of weapons to Iran. Some say this could lead to a high-level shakeup at the White House. There are some reports of pressure on the president to replace some senior White House officials. But last week, the president said he has no plans to fire anyone. Well, if you're looking for something fun for the entire family to enjoy, you might try a new movie called American Tail. Movie reviewer Dennis Cunningham takes a look at it.
Now, I can't imagine adults going to see this on their own, or in couples, or in groups. So this is not a review for adults. This is aimed directly at the audience the movie is aimed directly at, and that is children. And I feel certain children will find An American Tail a nice, delightful holiday movie treat. It is the tale of little Foward Mouskowitz, a little Russian mouse immigrant who gets separated from his family on his way to America and spends the movie in 1885 in Lower Manhattan in the shadow of a brand new Statue of Liberty, searching for his mother and father and sister. The mice had fled the cat oppressors in Mother Russia, only to run into the cat oppressors in the New World, and that's the subplot of the story. Foward looks for his lost family while the new mouse immigrants battle the nasty new cat oppressors. In this case, a cat disguised as a rat, assisted by an extremely nervous turn-of-the-century New York cockroach. Now, the movie has terrific first-class animation and a couple of very nice performances. One of the best, Dame DeLuise, as a cat who likes mice.
Listen, I like mice. Oh, no, not like that. I mean, I don't eat red meat at all. I'm a vegetarian. That's right. Oh, a little fish now and then. But what I really like is some nice broccoli.
And eat your broccoli, boys and girls. Now, sourpuss grown-ups may find the movie's plot way too slim, the songs all mediocre, and the movie itself far too insistently cutesy, but not if they see the movie with children and therefore through the eyes of children, which children I strongly suspect would give An American Tail a final, not at all mousy, indeed lucky, number 7. Dennis Cunningham for CBS News.
And if you'd like to take the family on a vacation, you could take a trip along the Texas coast and start off without spending a dime. Bob Griffin tells us about it in this report.
For over 35 years, they've come daily by the thousands to take advantage of the free ferry service that connects Galveston Island with Port Bolivar on the mainland. 24 hours a day, the ferries ply the waters of the Galveston Channel, coming and going, landing every 20 minutes or so hourly at night. On a normal summer day, 7,500 cars and 25,000 people. About half that many per day during the winter. The most ever, last July the 5th, over 10,000 cars and about 35,000 people. Many ride the ferry just for the fun of it. And feeding the seagulls is a good way to spend the 13 or 14-minute ride. All it takes is a few slices of bread and maybe a cracker crumb or two. Keep your eyes open, and you might even spot a porpoise or two frolicking in the water. At Port Bolivar, you can take Highway 87 to Port Arthur, or Interstate 10 and on to Beaumont and New Orleans, or back to Houston. But for many, Port Bolivar means a visit to the old lighthouse and Coast Guard station that for years guided ships as they made their way through the channel, called Bolivar Roads by the natives. On Bolivar Peninsula, you'll also find old Fort Travis with its fortifications and gun placements, once a guardian over Bolivar Roads. Then for the sightseer, it's back on a ferry for the return trip to Galveston Island, passing Pelican Island with its Seawolf Park on the way. Who says there's nothing free anymore? There's always a ferry ride on a visit to Galveston. This is Bob Griffin reporting for CBS News.
Well, Sam joins us next with the weather, and he says temperatures have cooled off all over the state. Details are coming up.
There's something new at Rosa's. Rosa's Desserts. After lunch or dinner, follow up with sopapillas, light and fluffy and great with honey. Or top off a meal of Rosa's fajitas with empanadas, delicious fruit fillings wrapped in a fried flour tortilla and sprinkled with sugar and spice. Take some pralines along for a snack, or go all the way with Rosa's original recipe chocolate cake. Like everything at Rosa's, it's made from scratch every day. Now you can get great food and delicious desserts when you eat in or drive through at Rosa's Cafe and Tortilla Factory, 1810 East 8th in Odessa.
What a day to head to the lake. Uh-oh, looks like Chuck's got car trouble.
Hey, Chuck, what's the problem?
Oh, sorry, Bill, but I was overdue for an oil and a filter change. Oh, no.
Chuck, you need to handle that the easy way like I do at a Kent Lube Center.
They put in 5 quarts of Pennzoil and change the filter, check the brake and transmission fluids, air filter, tire pressure, even vacuum the floorboards, all in 10 minutes. And they even remind me when it's time to come back in.
Kwik gives you more for your money.
You should compare and then shop at one of my 4 locations. I'm Morris-Caffy. Compare our product knowledge, our prices, and our selection. Compare our service, free delivery, and hookup in most cases, and you'll save with everyday values like these.
All Whirlpool appliances at Morris-Caffy have a 5-year parts and 4-year labor protection at no extra charge. Free delivery and hookups. Ask for details.
After you've compared, I know you'll shop at one of my 4 locations, and at Morris-Caffy, we won't let you down.
Lights, camera, color.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It's wonderful. Bigger than life. And now, you can see it in color. Frank Capra's heartwarming holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. The story that proves one good man can make all the difference in the world. It's a Wonderful Life, now even more wonderful in color.
Well, I've got to give it to you, Sam. Just as he said, it cooled down today.
Well, I only expected us to cool down, but the whole state has cooled down. In fact, the whole area has cooled down. Parts of New Mexico are getting much cooler, and some areas getting snow now, so it's getting very, very cool. Okay, let's take a look at that weather, and we know it's getting cool. Right now, we take a look at a picture sent in by a loyal Channel 7 viewer, and a record low for this date, 17 degrees in 1938. That was the record for this date. The record high, 84 degrees in 1965. Now today's low, which was 35 degrees, we reached it several hours early this morning. And today's high, we reached for about a half a second at 4 o'clock at 53 degrees. Precipitation, not a drop out of the airport. Temperature right now, pretty close to today's low at 38 degrees, and we're going to be dipping lower by the end of the evening. Humidity at 67%. It's a wet one outside today. Barometric pressure at 30.23 and steady winds out of the north at 10 miles per hour. All right, let us take a look at the South Central satellite, the satellite that shows you Texas, parts of New Mexico and Arizona. You can see a couple of layers of cloud cover coming in. There's one, and it's falling across central Texas, moving toward eastern Texas, and then another that covers the eastern part of New Mexico and West Texas. That's what we're under right now. Now, as you divide those up, those are 2 separate masses of clouds, and that's significant because they're bringing 2 different effects to different areas of Texas. There is the map that shows us temperatures across the western portion of the state. Amarillo at 29, Hobbs at 35, El Paso 36. We here in Odessa at 38, as I told you moments ago. Abilene at 41, San Angelo at 40, and Alpine at 32 degrees. Now, there are those two masses of clouds for a moment. As we go to the next map, which is the national map showing you the various conditions, you'll see what I was talking about. Rain in the eastern portion of the state and snow in some areas along West Texas and in New Mexico. We're not getting snow in Odessa right now, but it is a slight possibility that we will get some before the night is over. There is high pressure pushing that cold front down toward us. That is the normal movement during the winter. It's called a Canadian Pacific cold front. It comes from the Canadian Pacific, and it thrashes down through the nation. There's another one on the way, as you can see right there, the dim outline up in the northern part of the nation. All right, let's take a look at what we expect for wake up tomorrow. There could be some snow on the ground when you get up tomorrow, no major accumulation, but the possibility of a few flakes drifting around in the morning and rain probably off and on with snow in the morning hours before it clears up to a mostly cloudy kind of a day. Rain will cover most of the state, though, as we turn to the national map. You can see that tomorrow's national map. There it is, lots of rain all across Texas and a bit of snow in the western portions. All right, let's take a look at the highs for tomorrow. We won't get out of the 30s. That's a bold prediction, but we could hit 40, but we certainly won't get into the 40s and digits. It'll be 30s and possibly just touching 40 degrees. All right, let's go to the forecast. The Weather Center tonight, mostly cloudy and 38 degrees. Winds out of the north at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Sunrise 7:25 tomorrow morning. Sunset at 5:46. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, 39 degrees for a high. That's the high all day, 39 degrees. And winds out of north at 10 to 20 miles per hour. It is winter, folks. Weather Center tomorrow night, mostly cloudy and 35. And as we roll on into the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday look pretty much the same. Lows in the upper 30s, highs in the mid-50s, and skies partly cloudy. So winter is here. That's the short and long of it.
I'm glad you gave us the warning. Tomorrow we can wear our sweaters, coats, scarves, mittens, hats.
All of them. Wear them all.
That's right. Pull it all out. Thanks, Sam. Well, next in sports, Doug Strickland will tell us about the worst Dallas Cowboys loss this season. We'll be right back.
It's a secret operation. Men and women armed with no, not secret weapons, but with movie-making tools. Out here, just south of Alpine, in the middle of nowhere. Hi, I'm Michael Martinez, and all next week I'll let you in on the secret work, exclusively the making of a movie starring Anne Margaret and C. Thomas Howell. I'll introduce you to some of the people making the film, one of the stars, and a woman who looks a lot like Anne Margaret. All right here on a 4-day on the loose special on News Center 7 beginning Monday at 10.
Doctor says you'll be up and around in no time. Everything's going to be just fine.
In our country, physical illness gets the most advanced medical treatment there is. Yet a disease more widespread than cancer, lung, and heart disease combined goes virtually untreated.
Why don't you just get up and pull yourself together? Oh, snap out. Everybody gets depressed.
The disease is mental illness. A disease so confusing, its symptoms are often misread and misunderstood.
There's nothing wrong with him. All he needs is a good, swift kick in the pants. Enough is enough.
So its victims wind up neglected, isolated.
Why don't you talk to us? What is wrong? There is nothing more I can do for you.
But mental illness is a medical illness. And like other medical illnesses, it can be treated. Once you learn to recognize the warning signs, learn to see the sickness. Learning is the key to healing. For an informative booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
I should have known it wasn't going to work based on our wedding night, you know.
How insensitive.
He only had one thing on his mind.
Oh, yeah, well, at least one of us did.
That's his sexual inadequacy talking, Judge.
Nice shot. Hit him where it hurts.
Judge, she loved it. She just won't admit it, right?
Men, they're all alike.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
Divorce Court, the best fights on TV.
I tried to watch the Cowboy game today, but it was getting pretty painful by halftime. They were really losing.
Yes, it was, and I'll tell you, you remember you've seen the commercial with Tom Landry going into the Western Saloon, having that famous card with him, saying, "Don't leave home without it." Well, I think he went to Washington along with the rest of the Cowboys without their cards. They blew the NFC title today, let's face it. It was like Custer's last stand today in the nation's capital, and once again, the Indians won big. Let's take you to Washington for the slaughter there. Jay Schrader to tight end Clint Didier. He comes back on the football, blows past Bill Bates and Everson Walls, and it's 14-0, just like the snap of a finger in this one. Cowboys could not tackle. Watch Kelvin Bryant. He gets through the hole, 1 tackle, 2 tackles. Third guy says, here, go into the end zone. 27-0. Ouch at that point. Welcome to Little Bighorn, that's for sure. Still in the first half, Schrader, a timing pass to Gary Clark, 34-zip. Oh, how painful it gets. In the fourth quarter, Cowboys finally score. Herschel Walker, 34-7. Offensive line still a problem for the Cowboys. Steve Pallure does complete one here to Thornton Chandler, but whoopsie, there pops the football. Skins recover the pigskin. Loose on the ground. Final Redskin TD. Kelvin Bryant scores it mercifully. There was an end to all this, but too little too late. Washington wins 41-14. The Cowboys will now have a short week to prepare for Seattle Thanksgiving Day. In New Jersey, the Giants against the Denver Broncos. Giants' George Martin picks off the screen pass by John Elway. He is bye-bye. 80 yards for the touchdown. Kind of lumbers around, but he will score. Take my word for it. 10-6. Giants led it at this point. Now the Broncos would come back to make a game of it. Sammy Winder on the pitch will score. It is 16 all late. But Raul Alegre boots the game winner for the Giants. The Giants remain in a tie for the NFC East lead. The Giants win at 19-16. The Giants and the Redskins are both 10-2. In Houston, the Oilers against the Indianapolis Colts. Watch Mike Rozier. Somehow he's going to get through all this mess. Puts on a move, and he is going to score 17-3. Oilers had a little fun today for a change in the Dome. Warren Moon had a pretty good day, 3 TD passes. He'll throw the screen here to Ray Wallace. He'll do the rest. The Oilers keep the Colts winless with a 14-point victory in the Astrodome. And watch out for those Rams. Quarterback Jim Everett is coming on. He's deadly one more time. This time running with it as the Rams beat the Saints by 13. And this was totally uncalled for, folks. Packers' Charles Martin dumps the Bears' Jim McMahon well after the ball was thrown. He was ejected from the game. He ought to be suspended for the season. Anyway, fired up Bears. Well, they were really fired up after that. With help from a block punt, they beat Green Bay by 2 on the NFL scoreboard. On this 12th Sunday of action, Houston over Indianapolis 31-17. St. Louis surprises Kansas City. Seattle over Philly. It was Green Bay losing to Chicago. The Bears now 10-2. The Rams double the score on the Saints. San Francisco with the shutout. Buffalo blows a 15-point lead in losing to the Pats. Detroit all over Tampa Bay. Cincinnati beats Minnesota by 4. Minnesota's chances of a wild card pretty well dashed. Cleveland in OT over Pittsburgh, and the Jets and the Dolphins will play tomorrow night. After 33 years of trying and failing, the Big Spring Steers finally made the high school football playoffs, but their stay in postseason proceedings wasn't too long. Last night in Lubbock, it was the Steers against Hereford. Big Spring with a 17-13 lead. Paul Decker here to Philip Matthews, but Hereford came back to eliminate the Steers 26-17. The Steers end the season 10-1 with a lot of promise for next season in 2-4A. Now, one other matchup we didn't know quite about last night, but we can tell you the time and place on this one. Wink will play Sunray in a 1A game next Saturday night, 7:30 in Levelland. The Wildcats stayed alive with a 1-point victory 2 nights ago. Well, Mike Tyson is the youngest heavyweight boxing champ ever. Last night in Vegas, the 20-year-old Tyson took the WBC heavyweight title away from Trevor Berbick with a second-round technical knockout.
Put the pressure on. Well, if it wasn't for cuts, this would never happen. The idea I'm the youngest champ in the world, the idea that it'll live forever, the record I think will never be broken. And it's what I can say. He's probably up there right now saying, you did a lot of mistakes. You did a lot of mistakes.
Well, you know what they say. Well, you know what's said here in West Texas, that there's 2 sports, football and spring football. Actually, there's a third, flag football. These guys don't wear helmets and shoulder pads, but they hit just as hard. They wear flags in a modified game of football. Today in Midland, the region flag football title was on the line as the Odessa Wolverines took on the Midland Bud Light team. The final score, Wolverines 25, Bud Light 20.
It's pretty heated at times. We've played these guys 6 times, and it's been pretty tough every time. Comes that way. No, pretty much so, yeah. We take it pretty serious. We like to play as much as we can, go as many places as we can.
really does it take to make a good flag football player?
Instinct, quickness. It's better to have hands. Of course, there's always no substitute for raw speed.
The Odessa Midland area produces some very fine flag football teams. Last year, the Wolverines made it to the state tournament. They'll get another trip to Austin December 6th and 7th, along with the Midland Bud Light team. And you can bet the play will be even more intense.
Pretty rough to me.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly easy. Speaking of rough tonight, NBA, Philadelphia over Houston 114-104. Interesting story. The Rockets, Louis Lloyd, the guard for the Rockets, anyway, he was arrested before the game for not paying child support.
Oh, my.
But he was bailed out of jail, though, so it's kind of an interesting story.
He paid
there.
up and they let him go ahead and play.
That's right.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Well, next we'll show you some unlikely animals living here on Texas land. We'll be right back.
Culligan. Then add 2 cups of Culligan.
Dad, can we have a glass of Culligan?
A Culligan drinking water system gives you better tasting water for less than bottled. So maybe today you call it water, but tomorrow...
The future calls. The future calls for Culligan.
It removes sodium and salt and can be hooked up to your ice maker. Call your Culligan man.
Bill Stallard, we sell them for less. We discount every car, truck, van, and Jeep. Dodge Royal SE save $1,535. Dodge Dakota save $1,065. Jeep Comanche pickup save $960. Plus a free Stetson hat and a pair of Roper boots from Lusky's Western Store with every new pickup and Jeep. At Bill Stallard, we discount every car, truck, van, and Jeep. Register now for a new car and other prizes. At Bill Stallard, we mark them up just a little bit.
Years of farm work were evident in Anna Mary's hands. Stiff with arthritis, she re-explored her childhood passion, painting. For 25 years, she mastered the canvas, recalling scenes she'd remembered a lifetime. Today, her self-taught tribute to rural America is known the world over. A work Anna Mary, Grandma Moses, began in earnest at the age of 76. Age, it helps us express our dreams.
There are some places here in Texas that you would think you know pretty well, like the hill country, but you'll never guess what is over that next hill. Reporter Gary Grant shows us.
Well, I was born and raised around here. I'm a 4th generation rancher.
It is the first cold front of the year, and it has brought a chill to the Texas hill country's YO Ranch. Harvey Goff is up early. Harvey watches over 40,000 acres and 7,000 lives. Lives that today could be in trouble. The temperature has dropped 30 degrees in the past 24 hours. The Longhorns complain out loud, yet there are others who remain silent and very hungry.
Come on, here's you some breakfast. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? We've been at it so long, I guess we take it for granted, but still it's a lot more exciting to see a giraffe than it is a Hereford cow or something like that. All right, you got something.
He was once a full-time cattle rancher, but times in Texas have changed. The man who raised animals for slaughter now cares for others, whose numbers are dwindling.
And as wildlife is depleting in foreign countries, it's increasing here, and I think it's great. The more interest we have in wildlife, the less species will become endangered.
Here you go, fella. As you can tell, this isn't your typical hill country ranch, and Harvey Goff isn't your typical hill country rancher. This place is right out of Africa, except it's right here, smack dab in the middle of South Texas.
Great to be out where there's not too many people, even though we enjoy people coming out and looking at our longhorns and our wildlife and the ranch. It's just a way of life with us, and we wouldn't think of anything else but ranching.
San Antonio, Jerry Grant reporting for CBS News Southwest.
We hope you have a great week. Thank you for being with us. Good night.
News Center 7, setting the pace for news coverage in the Permian Basin.
At the first sign of hunger, here's the sign to look for. Walters with 2 great food locations in Odessa. Tickle your taste buds with Walters flame-broiled 100% pure beef hamburgers, sandwiches of all kinds, and everything from Walters homemade steak fingers to Mexican food and foot-long chili dogs. Top it off with Walters super thick milkshakes or malts and frosteds. Then try a great glacier treat or banana split for dessert. Walters for family dining indoors or a quick take-home service from the drive-thru window. 2 locations in Odessa with over 35 years of experience in preparing great food. Texas style.
I was very young when I became interested in nursing, but there were no schools or training available. The field of nursing has really changed. Students now have practical experience because of clinical training at Odessa College. So when they graduate, they are prepared to succeed in the nursing profession.
Early registration now through December 12th.
Frustrating. I never had drawing forms my whole life before, or where to go or what to do, but it's tough. It's really tough.
Monday on News Center 7 tonight, Sam Stewart begins a special series on the people who are hanging on. Life after the bust.
KOSA-TV Channel 7, Odessa, Midland.